Amen. Good morning. We greet all of you this morning. To our friends who are with us live, we bless God for you. We pray that the service will be a blessing to you. To all of our friends who have come to be with us today, you notice that I didn't overwhelm you, but I will kindly ask that you grant me the permission to personally greet you following the worship service as a sign and token of our love and appreciation for you being here. We appreciate you being here to share this worship experience with us. Avi, thank you for the reading. Kathy, of course, always good when you can. I didn't know you had that other gift, but we bless God. We bless God for you. Thank God. We thank God for everyone who has gathered together. So today is the second to the last in a series of our In Love sermon series. Next week, you read in the bulletin, we'll be talking about putting on the whole armor of God. And those blurb that I put in the bulletin is really meant for you to be a little more engaged. And so please read it, and let's see how we can do what we can to fully understand and do those little things that I'm asking. Because I believe if we did them, we'll fully appreciate the sermon. So I encourage you to please look at those things. Let me begin by suggesting that I believe, and again, this is my belief, I believe that many people in our world today are spiritually unenlightened. And I say that simply because when I look at some of the things that are happening in our world, when I look at some of the things that are happening in our country, I'm amazed that as a church, the church, that we cannot come up and speak as a people. It almost seemed to me that we are living back, we're going back to living in darkness. And so to be unenlightened simply suggests that we are living in darkness. And we're living in some very trying time. There seems to be a constant and unwanted outpouring of temptation and solicitation to evil in our day and time. And if we are not careful, we'll be driven right in those things, in the solicitation to evil. How are we solicited to be evil-minded, to do things that grieve God's Spirit? It is real. These things are happening because you have people who will do everything they can to help drive us from on track. And we ought to be mindful of those people that they do exist. The result is that it is becoming easier for us these days to fall into daily destructive lifestyle. Those things that we know, for example, we are not supposed to do, but yet and still we're falling prey to doing those things, grieving God's Spirit. The way humanity is being destroyed through careless living and falling prey to our wants should be a warning sign to all of us who are considered to be practicing Christians. The signs are on the wall. They're there. And we do not have to go very far to realize that these signs are there. We must rely, therefore, on the Holy Spirit as a way of avoiding these traps that are being set for us, who God, through the grace of Jesus Christ, has brought out of darkness into God's marvelous light. And that is why we, as practicing Christians, must always be discerning what is and what is not acceptable unto the Lord. There are consequences to everything that we do. If Jesus suggests that we do not do certain things, and if we did them, we should be prepared for the consequences that follow. Paul begins in verse 15 of the 5th chapter of Ephesians by saying, offering a strategy. He says, see then that you walk circumspectly. What does he mean by that? It means that all of us who are professing to be Christians should watch carefully how we live. Watch circumspectly. Be careful how you live. Why is he inviting us to be careful how we live? Because of all of what I have just outlined. This trap for us, so that we might derail from following Jesus Christ. Verse 16, he said, redeeming the time, or some version of the Bible will say, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. The specific opportunity before us this morning is that of exposing the sins and the lost we find in our world today by being witnesses to those persons who are lost. That is the opportunity that presents itself to us today. Because the days are evil, assigns a reason to seize the opportunity. Why should we engage people so that their souls are not lost to Satan? The reason is that because the days are evil. And that compels us then as Christians to get out and proclaim Christ to those persons who are lost. Seize the opportunity. It is because the signs that we see each day, the things that people do, the sins that are being committed during these days are evil. And these things are separating us from the love of God. Verse 17 says, therefore, because we know that the days are evil, therefore do not be unwise, but understand what is the will of God. Look back at the evil days as we suggest in verse 16. Since the current day that we're living in is exposed to imminent risk and danger, and people are so evil-minded, practicing Christians must clearly understand what the will of God is in their lives. Because if we do not understand what God has purposed for us, we're lost. We're lost. We're walking dead. Anybody who does not know what God's will is for them. And then verse 18, and do not be drunk with excess wine, but filled with the Holy Spirit. This is an example of what is and what is not the Lord's will, as we reiterated in verse 17. Practicing Christians are not allowed to be intoxicated with alcoholic beverages. Take a glass of wine while you're having your meal, that is fine. But when you get intoxicated and act out of character, it is wrong. It grieves God's Spirit. The reason for this spiritual regulation is that intoxication leads to moral intemperance. And what I mean by that is that a lack of moderation. We are not able to constrain ourselves. We just drink until we get drunk. Practicing Christians do not do that. This is clearly contrary to the Lord's will for us. His will is that we must be filled with the Holy Spirit. And drinking and getting drunk and intoxicated in the Holy Spirit, they do not go together. They do not go together. we should allow the Spirit to fill us with God's own life, God's character, and God's virtues. The analogy used here by Paul between the two moral conditions suggests a clearly defined way of setting us apart from those persons who are living in the world. You will agree with me that a person who is filled with wine is under the influence of the wine. If you are drunk and you are intoxicated, you are under the influence of the alcohol. If you're using drugs, you're under the influence of the drugs. Similarly so, practicing Christians who are filled with the Holy Spirit are under the influence of the Holy Spirit. Everything you do, you will be guided by the Spirit. Everything you say, the Holy Spirit will have already filled you before you give utterance to what you ought to say. The Spirit controls our thoughts when we're filled with the Spirit, our attitudes, our actions, and our behaviors. And so, the words we speak, the attitudes we express, the actions we display, the behavior we exhibit, all of these things are indication of the conditions of our hearts. Because what the heart and what the mind conceive are the things that we live out. This morning when you woke up, your mind led you to come into church. And so you enacted that by getting into your cars and driving up to come to this place to worship. The things that we perceive in our hearts and our minds, we act them out. And so if the Holy Spirit is dwelling in us, the Holy Spirit will guide us to do the right things. But the Holy Spirit and other things of the world do not occupy the same space. And so we have to get rid of those things that are preventing God's Spirit from dwelling in us. When controlled by the Spirit, there are other practical things that happen. Verse 19 says, we speak to one another in psalm, in hymns, and spiritual songs. In other words, we encourage each other's heart. You heard the plead. The choir will be starting back up. You heard the plead. Whenever the choir sings, it is not a show. When we preach, it is not a show. Anything and everything we do, it is not a show. It is meant to glorify God and to edify the saints of God. If we're doing it for any other reason, then we're wrong. And so when people come, someone shared with me the other day, Pastor Bass, this is nothing that I want to say. There isn't anything I want to say that you should think otherwise. But the person said, I come to church to hear the choir singing, not that you do not preach. Well, I was wondering whether there was something else I needed to do. But, I mean, this person was just being honest. This person is moved by the singing of the choir. And so they love to see the choir sing. And sometimes that is why people come. We sing individual songs to praise God in token of all of what God has been to us. When controlled by the Spirit, verse 20, we give thanks always for all things to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Not in anybody else's name. We're doing these things to please and to glorify God. The Spirit enables us to be thankful for all things divinely allowed to enter our lives. And I'll share this morning when I read this. I've read this passage over and over again. But when I hear Brother Paul say, all things, I was a little restless. And so I called him. I called Brother Paul. And I said, Brother Paul, I will be standing before my congregants this morning. And I'm wrestling with this because I know some of them will desire some answers. And Paul did not respond to me. He did not pick up my call. He said, leave a message and I will get back to you later. If it is an emergency, call 911. How do we feel when there's a sense of urgency in our lives? And we put in a call to God. How will we feel if God told us, leave a message? How will we feel if God told us, dial 911 or call my assistant? Paul wasn't available. Perhaps I had the wrong number. I do not have a number to dial into second century life. But what I was doing was I was meditating. And I said to myself, how do you tell members of your congregation to give thanks in the midst of uncertainties? How do you tell people to give thanks in the midst of despair? And I said, Paul, there are people in my congregation that I will be preaching to this morning who are broken. How do I tell them to give thanks in their brokenness? Paul, how do I tell people to give thanks when they have heard some not so good news from the doctor, which in so many cases are the pronouncement of death? How do I tell them to give thanks? How do I tell somebody to give thanks who have experienced the world crumbling down on them? How can they give thanks when you say give thanks in everything? I want to believe that we can give thanks because these are elements of life that shape us for giving reason to give thanks. David writes in Psalm 69, and if you read this, it helps us to really and fully understand. David says, save me, O God, for the waters are up to my neck. I have sung in the mystery or in the miry depth where there is flooding. I have nowhere to go. I have drifted into the deep waters. The flood has engulfed me. I'm weary from my crying. My throat is parched. My eyes are frilled. I'm looking for my God. This is someone who is in desperation. And I'm quite sure this morning, some of you are looking for your God. How can you give thanks? David says, I am in pain and distress. Lord, please allow your salvation to protect me. And then he says in verse 30, I will praise the name of God with songs and with mighty hymns. I will magnify him with thanksgiving. You see, David had no control over what was going on. And when we have tried and tried over and over again, and when there's no control, I submit to you, give it to the Lord. Give it to the Lord. thanksgiving shape us to build up each other's faith. That is why we give thanks. Because when someone is down to the lowest moment and they see you giving thanks, that might move them to give thanks as well. They shape us to be attentive to the hurts and the concerns of others. They shape us to achieve unity. They shape us to be less critical of each other. They shape us to be more purposeful. They shape us to be more authentic in our relationships with each other. They shape us to understand that there is a resurrection. Even when he was on the cross, Jesus offered thanks with love. Because those folks who were crucifying him, they were crazy. They were foolish. And Jesus says to the Father, Father, forgive them. They're crazy. They don't know what they're doing. Forgive them. My friends, sometimes it is easier said than done. It is not always to give thanks for people who just want to see you not prosper. It's not always the easiest thing to give thanks when people look you in the face, but they're stabbing you in the back. It is not easy, but that is the work to which we've been called to. If there is any consolation, Jesus rose above the grave. He rose above death. As an example that we too can rise above our circumstances. We do not have to die before we experience the resurrection. There are people who can experience the resurrection now. Right now. If you're going through some stuff, and you have thought that there's no way you can get over it, and all of a sudden God blesses you in such a way that there's an epiphany and you can see the light again, that is a form of resurrection. If you're at a low place in your life where you feel that you cannot do anything anymore, and all of a sudden you begin to experience within yourself that you can do something, that is a form of resurrection. If you have been experiencing despair, whatever the case might be, and all of a sudden you can smile again, there is a form of resurrection. From sadness to joy. That is resurrection. We do not have to die to be resurrected. We can be resurrected from our pains. If you've been going through pain and all of a sudden through medication and prayer, you're not experiencing pain anymore, it is a form of resurrection. You can be resurrected. Jesus rose above those things. I pray that we will give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks. In everything give thanks. I can give thanks this morning, and I know many of us here can give thanks. I was able to get up this morning. I have the mobility of my limbs. That is reason to give thanks. I have the ability to see you. That is reason to give thanks. I have the ability to hear, the sense of hearing. That is reason to give thanks. I have the ability to speak this morning. That is reason to give thanks. What can you give thanks to God for this morning? And are we yet alive and can see each other's face? And are we not yet gathered in this place that we congregate in every Sunday morning? Is that not reason to give thanks to God? I believe that is reason to give thanks to God, because we're alive. The simplest thing of life, like Lauren said, I give thanks because I can breathe this morning. God has given me the breath of life. That is reason to give thanks. I pray that we will not lose sight of the simplicity of life and wait for some huge thing to give thanks for, but we'll give thanks for the simple things that by and through God's grace have allowed us to experience. When we're controlled by the Spirit, verse 21, and I will close with that verse, says, we submit to one another in the fear of God. Let us leave this place today giving thanks in love. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy